And now we're going to start our last minute of play here. Basically, we each get 1 minute to talk about one thing that's on our mind. Sometimes we need a little bit of injury time, especially with Bobby, but I'm going to go first just to kick it off. And I just want to touch upon the New York Islanders. Not so much the hockey team, but the fans. I got to hand it to them. That building is such a cool playoff atmosphere. And I know they're moving to a new building next year. Hopefully they can, bring that atmosphere over to the new place. And it just makes me realize how much the Leafs atmosphere sucks in comparison. But I have a way to solve it. What if MLSE had tryouts and created almost like a soccer fan club, like TFC has Kings of the North or Inebriati, and they come up with chants and they come up with things to say during the game, and you tell them you have to come to every game. You cannot sit down at any point, and you let them kind of create an atmosphere, and you give them free tickets for the whole year. Maybe it's 100 seats, maybe 200 seats. The Leafs can afford it. I think maybe something like that could go a long way. And the Leafs, we know what it's like in that arena. It's very corporate. They need to think outside the box in some way to create a better atmosphere and a better home ice advantage for their hockey club.
All right. I guess I'll go next. Bobby, you want it? So that cleanup? I'll take that as a yes. Mine's pretty quick in terms of, I'm a Twitter. I'm always on Twitter for anything news related, hockey, wrestling, business. It's where you get your news. But I also get entertainment from it. And what I like seeing is obviously, with the Stanley Cup playoffs going on, it's still pretty Leaf centric. And what we go by, everybody likes to play armchair GM. And obviously, the biggest debate now is between Zach Hyman and Morgan Riley, what to do with these guys. And I think one thing that we do probably more than any city in the NHL is we number one, we overvalue our players, thinking, oh, we can trade this guy for this guy. All we have to do is throw a third round pick in. But I think the only thing too is we're too attached to our players. And I think all this stuff about Zach Hyman, if he goes, we lose the heart of this team, and et cetera, et cetera. We got to stop with that narrative. It hasn't worked in the past, and it's not going to work moving forward. This team is constructed the way it is, and the fact that we just get too attached to these players doesn't make things any easier on us. We have to understand, and we said it before on this show, you don't pay guys on a declining contract, especially with their age and the way they play. You don't pay to keep a guy like that in your lineup. You pay to find his replacements. And we as a fan base have to understand the easier we make this attachment from a player like that, the easier it's going to be moving forward. So guys, relax. Guys like Hyman, I have to say they're a dime a dozen. If they can't find one, maybe you find two or three more. But you can't pay a guy who's not going to live up to that contract. And the minute he doesn't, we're going to be on his ass anyways. Guess where? On Twitter. So take a chill pill, understand the situation, and react accordingly.
All right. My last minute, which should truly be a minute, I'm going to shock the world here. And I am going to criticize baseball. Shocking. Stuff that I never do. But in yet another perfect example of MLB dropping the ball, last week, Shohei Ohtani, the Japanese pitcher/hitter, had a week that went like this. Home run, 6-inning win, home run. That's in 6 games in a week. Went home run, 6-inning win, home run. And yet, half of baseball fans couldn't pick him out in a room full of people. We always hear about how great Babe Ruth was. I always hear that nobody will ever be as good as Babe Ruth. And I am by no means saying Shohei Ohtani is Babe Ruth or as good as Babe Ruth. But what did Babe Ruth do? He was a great hitter. Oh, and he was a great pitcher, which is what Shohei Ohtani is. You have a modern day version of Babe Ruth. And yet, again, baseball just refuses to market their stars. They have 2 elite all-timers on that team in Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani. Do you think maybe some network, somebody in baseball would find the way to get these guys some primetime games so that everybody can see them? At some point, and the NHL, you're not devoid of this either. Get your stars, showcase your stars. The NBA is thriving because they showcase their stars. The MLB and NHL are so far behind. These are elite people. McDavid, Shohei Ohtani, Draisaitl, uh, Mike Trout. Like, get these guys in as many prime time games as you can, and maybe you can take your regional game and make it a national sport again.